Good afternoon, class. Today, we'll be talking about what I've learned taking PED 23 and its pertainings to obesity. All right. So, the first thing we're going to get into is my understanding of obesity before taking PED 2302. Before taking PED 2302, I already had some knowledge about obesity from being a fitness trainer and an athlete. I understood obesity through training, nutrition, and lifestyle habits, but my perspective came mostly from the physical and performance side. From working with clients, I believed obesity was mainly caused by poor nutrition habits, lack of movement, stress, and not having access to healthy resources. I always knew the obesity problem was serious because I've seen people struggle with their weight, confidence, and overall health firsthand. A lot of times when I would train my clients, I would often forget about certain things and I would only focus on getting their specific result, which is more so on that performance and that physical side, not necessarily putting their overall health at the forefront. And sometimes even people who are obese, they're not necessarily worried about their health overall at the forefront. They're just worried about getting the weight off to have a certain image. And I'll get into that more here. Like, I've trained people who dealt with emotional eating, low self-esteem, and health scares related to obesity. Even in my athletic journey, I've seen how body image pressure shows up in sports and fitness spaces. Definitely in the gym, body image has a big effect on how people train, view themselves, or even show up to the gym. Some people, that can be a deal breaker for them because they could be in a gym where 90% of the people are in top peak physical shape, and this person may be just a beginner. This person may be obese, and they're trying to get on the same level as them, and sometimes it can be a little overwhelming or often intimidating, and it can scare that person from even attempting to go into the gym or attempting to be active. So I definitely understand how body image pressures can show up in the gym because, like I said, you're seeing all these people, and not only that, I've seen firsthand where people give you certain looks or certain type of interactions to make you feel not welcome or like you don't belong or fit in. Before the class, I thought obesity impacted people physically by increasing the risk of heart issues and mobility problems, and mentally by lowering confidence and creating negative relationships with food. And I believe society's body image standards definitely affect both physical and mental health. People push themselves too hard or they give up completely because they feel like they don't fit the ideal look. All right? So now when we're talking about my breakdown of a certain video that we watched in class, we watched Speaking Frankly, Fat Shaming. It's a YouTube video. I suggest if you haven't checked it out, check it out. It has a lot of good information in there, led by a lot of great people, guys that have doctor beside their name. So, incredible people. All right. So, let's break down a little bit of those viewpoints from the people that resonated with me the most. So there are 5 viewpoints we'll go over. The first one is Dr. David Katz. Mr. David Katz believes obesity is a major physical health risk that increases the chance of early death and chronic diseases. That is something that I stand with. I believe wholeheartedly. I have had my own family members have early death and chronic diseases from not necessarily obesity, but their health habits, their nutrition habits that are similar to someone who has obesity are what cause those chronic diseases. Now we have Dr. Rebecca Pohl. I forgot if I'm saying her name correctly, but she focused on how weight, stigma, and body shaming causes depression, anxiety, stress, and even physical problems. That's something else that I've seen with my own eyes. I've seen a lot of young ladies, especially, they have eating disorders or eating phobias where they force themselves to starve to fit the status quo of being a thin person. So that's definitely how body shaming can cause depression, anxiety, stress, and physical health problems. Because if you're starving yourself, now you're malnutrition. Now that's going to cause other health problems, which is also going to cause more depression and other confidence issues, which leads to just a whole bunch of chaos that we don't want to have. The next person that I want to highlight is Jasmine Stanley, because Jasmine Stanley pushes for body positivity and self-love. That's something that more of us need to push, because the more that we love ourselves, the more that we love our bodies, the more we're motivated and inspired to take care of our bodies. So I believe that a lot of the problems that come from obesity stem from just not having self-love from the get-go. All right. Now we have two more, and for my first of my last two will be Jillian Michaels. Jillian Michaels argues that the movement can sometimes ignore the health consequences of obesity. That movement that I speak of is the body positive movement, which is all about promoting self-acceptance, challenging unrealistic beauty standards, and creating space for people of all body types to feel respected. It doesn't mean ignoring health, it means removing shame so people can actually pursue health without feeling judged. I picked Jillian Michaels because her argument is somewhat controversial, and I somewhat agree with her and I somewhat don't agree with her. I agree with her that people definitely can be softened up to the point where they ignore the consequences when you try to remove the shame or remove the accountability. But then again, I do believe it's how you approach and how you put something in front of someone. So if you're challenging them, you don't have to necessarily shame them to push them, or you don't have to make them feel judged to pull the best out of someone. I do believe that. So her argument is a very true, valid point, but it's not factual, because not everyone that participates in the movement or pushes the movement ignores health consequences of obesity. But overall, it does help bring a lot more awareness, and it does help bring a lot more people into a comfortable setting of wanting to start a fitness journey to better their health. So my last person is Miss Sarah Chiwaya. I believe that's how you say her name. But she talks about fashion, representation, and how society treats plus-size individuals. And this is a very touchy subject, because society treats plus-size individuals on a seesaw type of scale. Depending on who you are and what you do, you get praised for being a plus-size individual. And then there's a flip side. You get shamed. So there's definitely a towing cost when it comes to how society treats you and how you're viewed when it comes to your fashion and how you represent yourself being a plus-size individual. So, as a fitness trainer, I can see valid points on both sides of all these people. After evaluating everyone's perspective, however, I personally agree slightly more with Dr. Rebecca Poole because I see every day how shame, judgment, and mental strain stop people from even trying to get healthy. A person who feels hopeless or embarrassed won't show up to the gym and won't ask for help and won't feel confident enough to make a change. But I also understand Dr. Katz. The health risks of obesity are very real. My stance is that both mental and physical health matter. If we address the psychological side first, people are much more willing to take steps to improve their physical health, which is what I just spoke on. All right. So the last two components, 3 and 4, will be getting into my new perspective after taking class PED 2302. And so my perspective has definitely expanded beyond the fitness side of obesity. The class helped me connect obesity to social class, gender, and race in ways I had never studied before. For example, learning about habituous showed, I can't pronounce the word, but habitus showed me how people's environment, income, and upbringing shape their habits, food choices, and attitudes towards exercise. Some people never had access to healthy food or safe places to work out. It's not just about willpower. The gender section showed me how society pushes men and women differently for not fitting the ideal body image. Women face pressure to be thin and feminine. Men face pressure to look muscular, athletic, and strong. And the concept of intersectionality helped me understand how race and class together create even more barriers, like food deserts in black and low income, neighborhoods, limited access to quality health care, and stereotypes affect mental health. Now my perspective on obesity is more balanced. I see it as a social, psychological, and economic issue, not just a fitness problem. Based on what I've learned, I think strategies to address obesity should include individually building healthy habits through support, not shame, learning proper nutrition, increasing daily movement in ways that feel realistic and enjoyable, encouraging people to focus on long-term lifestyle changes, not quick fixes. Collectively, as a society, we should be creating affordable access to healthy food, improving community gyms, parks, and safe exercise spaces, reducing weight stigma in healthcare and media, teaching children early about healthy habits in a positive way, promoting body positivity while still advocating for overall health. Obesity shouldn't be treated like a personal failure. It's a social problem that needs social solutions. For my final message and my last component, to close everything out, my main message is this. Obesity is both a health issue and a social issue, and the only way we solve it is by combining compassion with education. When we remove shame and increase support, people feel empowered to take control of their health. So, with that being said, I hope that you all were able to learn something from my video. I hope that I was entertaining enough for you in my video, and I appreciate all of your time. Holla back at your boy.